In a peaceful village, there lived a boy named Raga. He was intelligent, hardworking, and filled with big dreams, but he had one serious problem. His mind was never still. Whether he was studying, working, or even talking to someone, his thoughts would constantly drift away into unnecessary worries, imaginary scenarios, or pointless daydreams. His parents and teachers often reminded him to focus, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't control his wandering mind. He would sit down to study but soon find himself lost in stories he imagined, regrets from the past, or fears about the future. One day during his school exams, Raga faced the worst moment of his life. As he sat with the question paper in front of him, his mind went completely blank. Even though he had prepared well, he couldn't concentrate. Instead of writing answers, he spent most of the time thinking about unrelated things. When the results came out, Raga had failed two subjects. His teachers were disappointed, his friends felt sorry for him, and his parents were deeply worried. That night, Raga sat alone in his room, feeling helpless. He knew he had potential, but instead of controlling his thoughts, he was being controlled by them. His grandfather, a wise old man, noticed Raga sitting quietly and gently asked, "What's wrong, Raga?" With tears in his eyes, Raga replied, "Grandpa, no matter how hard I try, my mind keeps running in every direction. I want to focus, but useless thoughts won't let me." His grandfather smiled and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." He led Raga to the backyard, where there was a large empty pot. He handed Raga a cup of dirty water and said, "Pour this into the pot." Raga did as he was told. Then his grandfather gave him a jug of clean water and said, "Now pour this water into the pot until the dirty water's gone." Raga kept pouring. Slowly the dirty water overflowed and was replaced by clean, clear water. His grandfather looked at him and said, "Your mind is like this pot. If you keep filling it with wasteful thoughts, it will be polluted. But if you keep pouring in good, meaningful thoughts, the wasteful ones will slowly disappear." Raga thought for a moment and asked, "But Grandpa, how do I replace these wasteful thoughts with better ones?" His grandfather smiled and said, "Let me tell you a story. Long ago in a distant kingdom, there was a young warrior named Via. He was strong and talented, but he had a big weakness. He doubted himself too much. Before every battle, he would think, "What if I lose? What if the enemy is stronger? What if everyone laughs at me?" These thoughts made him hesitate. He lost small battles, avoided challenges, and gradually his confidence faded. One day, an old monk saw Via sitting alone, deep in thought. The monk asked, "What troubles you, young warrior?" Via replied, "My thoughts are my enemy. They make me weak before the battle even begins." The monk smiled and handed him a cup that was half filled with water. Then he gave Via a handful of salt and said, "Drop this into the cup and take a sip." Via did as he was told, but immediately spat it out. It was too salty. Then the monk brought him to a lake and asked him to drop the same amount of salt into the lake. Afterward, he told Via to take a sip of the lake water. This time, the water tasted fresh. The monk said, "The amount of salt was the same, but the difference was in the size of the container. If your mind is small, even a little negativity will ruin it. But if you make your mind vast like a lake, no negativity can affect you." Via understood. He stopped feeding his doubts and started filling his mind with courage. With discipline and dedication, he trained hard and eventually became one of the greatest warriors in the kingdom. Hearing the story, Raga was silent for a while. Then he said, "I see. I kept my mind small, so wasteful thoughts could easily take over. But if I fill it with focus, discipline, and positive thoughts, the useless ones will be washed away." His grandfather nodded. "Exactly. The mind is a powerful tool. If you don't control it, it will control you. But if you train it with the right thoughts, it will become your greatest strength." That night, Raga made a promise to himself. He would no longer let wasteful thoughts take control. He began following a strict routine. He practiced mindfulness and meditation to calm his mind. He avoided distractions and learned to replace negative thoughts with useful ones. He read inspiring books and kept himself busy with meaningful tasks. Slowly, his focus improved. His confidence returned. In the next exam, Raga scored the highest in his class. Years later, Raga became a brilliant scientist, inspiring young people everywhere. Whenever someone asked him how he overcame his wandering thoughts, he would smile and say, "Your mind is like a pot. If you fill it with good thoughts, there will be no room for the wasteful ones. The mind is like water. It takes, your mind is like a pot. If you fill it with good thoughts, there will be no room for the wasteful ones. The mind is like water. It takes the shape of whatever you pour into it. Pour in focus, positivity, and discipline, and success will naturally follow."